Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, November 6th, 2025. So, honestly, I don't know if it's because I was so tired. I was really nodding throughout this episode, but I still want to get this episode recap out. It was kind of mid to me today. Honestly, nothing much about it. But anyways, let's start off with Gwen and EJ. So basically, EJ is just drinking, and Gwen is like, "It's too early to be drinking. What you celebrating?" So he said that he's celebrating becoming a newly minted grandfather. Johnny Chanel adopted a baby boy recently. So she said, "I know grandparents like to have a ton of pictures. Let me see them." So he said he wish he had them, but unfortunately, he won't have any pictures. He won't even have the chance to even meet his grandson because of how things are with him and Johnny Chanel. So, anyways, they talk about what they can control, which is the gala and who is coming in, and they're jeering at the self-righteous crew, which is the Hortons, the Bradys, the Blacks, especially because it's supposed to pay homage to John. But again, it's good press for what they have on the cover going on with the free clinic, or quote unquote free clinic, right? So um at some point, Theo comes over to talk about what's going on with Tony, so we'll get into that at some point. Let's see before I forget. Okay, yes. Gwen talks about Sammy coming to town and if it's EJ's doing, knowing that there's unfinished business between them. And EJ said it's been over, nothing between me and her. And she said, I beg to differ because, like, she came here when you were in a coma, and then when the trial was going on, seems like things are still going on between you two, but EJ denies anything to do with that, right? So Stephanie and Alex yet again are talking about this whole press release for Anastasia Sands and how it's getting really busy, and he gives her this check, I guess royalty check for her work, and she's excited. And then he puts something else on, which is Kate wants to do a press tour, and she is surprised by that because she still has another day job. She has a day job that she's committed to her clients. She don't want to leave them. So he said, "Don't worry, I'm head of publishing. I'll make sure that it's feasible to your day job and everything will work accordingly." So she's kind of hesitant about it because the whole publicity and everything. They talk about the whole incident with the pumpkin, and Alex sees a shirt with there's a split at the top, so we know that there's somebody, presumably Jeremy, with a carving knife that tried to swipe at Alex before he was knocked out by the pumpkin, right? I'm trying to remember anything else interesting between the two of them. Honestly, that's about it, really. It wasn't really interesting. If you guys have anything in the comments, let me know. But really, it wasn't interesting with these two, and it's getting more and more dull to me. So Theo summoned Gabby to talk business. I guess whether or not to really let go of Gabby Chic or to really incorporate into Demir Enterprises, he had a new offer other than what Philip offered her initially. So he was trying to make it worth her while, that it would be a wonderful addition business wise. But before that, Gabby seemed very distant, distracted because of what happened with baby T being given up for adoption to Chanel and Johnny. So Thea heard about it because, again, Chanel is his stepsister and Johnny is his cousin. Again, everybody's related in this damn town. So anyways, back to business. Gabby doesn't want to go down the road again. She wants total control over her company. She fought hard for it over years, and it's a solid no, right? So he said, he understands. And then she said, "How do you run it by Tony?" So he said, "Surprisingly, I haven't heard back from him a while, right?" So she leaves at some point, and she said, thanks for not, doing business with you and everything like that. And he had a business call, trying to get through to Tony. So apparently Tony is still missing, right? He did not go to that port like suggested. So something is really up at this point, right? So Paulina comes in to Roman and Abe at the pub. She shows them pictures of what happened recently, which is now they have a grandchild to soon over, a great grandchild. So she shows them pictures, and they are enamored with this little boy. And she is just happy that everything went through properly and that the baby's name is John Paul Demare, right? So after John, and also a nod to her. So of course Abe is there with his snarky self, like, oh, oh joy, whatever, and I'm saying he couldn't just be happy for her. But at the same time, now they talk about the gala and how Sammy and Eric and everybody coming in, and they're gonna be happy to see this new baby in the family. Also, Abe talked about Eli and Lonnie coming in to visit along with the kids. And Paulina is saying that we have our own celebration going on. So Abe just had to put in this point about how something about hopefully they don't have to hide anything from parents or blah blah blah, something like that, because I was tired through this all, guys, I'm not gonna lie. So he leaves because he has his literacy thing to go to. Then Roman and Paulina talk about this whole thing with her and Abe and how it's going, and how he is still giving her the cold shoulder because of what happened between her and Theo, and her just giving him soul guidance, right? Just unnecessary. But if we have to keep going through this, I'm just gonna skip this part because Abe is just doing a little bit too much. So earlier, Javi was there looking at the picture of his late daughter and also a picture of Tesaro, or I guess now we call him Trey, and I'll just call him Baby T. So he's there looking, and he starts getting emotional about it. And then Gabby comes in. Gabby's surprised to see him there, and he said that he would cover his shift at a later time. He just needed some space, some time to really grieve what's going on. So she said, I understand that, just know that you're not alone in this. I am here. So he appreciates her support at this time. She also tells him that, she has sole control over her company, and he's happy for her because he knows she's been wanting that for a while. But she said it came with a price, and she told him her dirty secret about how, you know, she really backstabs Xander and Philip to get her company from the mirror, and that she had to do some shady stuff for it to break down, as well as now her and Philip are pursuing a romantic relationship, and it's really messy right now, right? So like I said earlier, Theo went over to EJ's and tell EJ that, look, Tony's missing. So he's like, are you serious? Like, I thought that he left the last time we found out. Like, I can talk to the authorities there, what's going on with him not going to the port. So now, Theo's worried because right now the mayor is starting up, and he needs his advice on certain things to turn around. And he just said, look, I'm always here to give some advice or to help you with the mayor. So Theo said thanks, but I got it, right? So he leaves, and Gwen said that this is just fishy, right? And she said, Anna can be a little bit too much, definitely annoying, as we all can agree. Anna is definitely a lot. But she said that, did you have anything to do with Tony's disappearance? Like, do you want him wanted away for some reason? So he said that I have no business or interest in the mere enterprises. I'm running the hospital. We have a free clinic doing and everything. Like, I have no reason to do that. So she's suspicious because she said, look, if you can make this Dimitri disappear, you and I can make Dimitri disappear, then who's to tell if you wouldn't make Tony disappear? So now it's getting interesting because now we know that they're the ones behind Dimitri's disappearance, but we all know how this is going to turn out, and a lot of things are going to come to the light. Let's see what's going to go. Theo runs into his dad. He is coming from the literacy program. I guess it didn't go well, or it didn't happen because what's his name, Liam, was not there. So he went to the store and get something for, the new grandchild. So Thea heard all about that. At some point, he tells them that, Uncle Tony's missing, and that, he also needs to find out what's really going on. EJ offered to help him with the business, but he declined, and, Abe was gonna say no, you can't take advice from him. And he said, don't worry, I didn't do it. So he said, if you can excuse me, I'm gonna go deal with business, right? So Abe is still worried about him and working for the mayor, but that was where it really that was really it for today's episode, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel, comment below your thoughts on today's episode. Definitely tell me what I missed. I will see you guys tomorrow.